Let me introduce a unique festival of its kind, Museum Film. Museum Film is the only festival of museum film in the Czech Republic. The festival is connected with the history and focuses on state museums in our country. We are preparing the 20th year of museum film for the next year, 2017. The organizer of the festival of museum is Museum of Jan Amos Comenius in Uherský Brod. The establisher of this museum is the Ministry of Culture of the Czech Republic. Museum Film Festival was held in 1998 for the first time when the museum celebrated its 100th anniversary. It was initiated by the former museum director, ethnographer, Mr. Pavel Popelka, PhD, who is known as a collector of folk songs, an author of song collections, an expert on ceremonial traditions such as sword dances or folk weddings. He is also a photographer and a filmmaker. He followed an old tradition of the museum festival in our country, ethnofilm, exclusively dealing with the areas of ethnographic film. Festival Ethnofilm was organized by the Wallachian Museum in Rožnov pod Radhoštěm, which is also a museum established by the Ministry of Culture of the Czech Republic. Another state museum in our country, National Technical Museum in Prague, has been using video for the museum documentation since the 80s of the last century. Our colleagues from this museum tried to process it there at that time as well. A significant help in these efforts was the activity of the Film and TV School of the Academy of Performing Arts in Prague, which organized courses about the basics of filmmaking for museum operators, and its experts participate in museum film in the roles of teachers nowadays. The festival became known because of its characteristics. At the paramount place are movies made by museum staff in the museum environment. So the role of the festival is also educational. We can say that museum film is a small film school for museum professionals or seminars for museum experts who are interested in using video in museum work. Moreover, what is typical for museum film is the participation of authors and experts from the film branch. The profound imprint on the festival has the professor of documentary production at the Film and TV Faculty of Academy of Performing Arts in Prague, director and educator, a leading Czech documentarist, Rudolf Adler. The visits of experts from the Department of Cameras of this faculty or other Czech directors are also frequent. These personalities have a time frame for its own workshop where they explain their own professional movie themes. Their fundamental role is an essential element in the festival, leadership of the expert discussions after the film watching based on their experience. The schedule of the festival is built on mutual discussions among museum experts, filmmakers and other participants of festival. Authors of films take part and they participate in reflections and analysis in mutual debates. These lively discussions and analyses are valuable for creators who extend their film knowledge, and they can also reflect the reactions in their intentions. Criticism is conducted in a constructive tone and compares the positive and negative components in the construction of the film. The average number of film submissions is 30. Movie ratings, film seminars, and complementary cultural programs are being presented for 3 days. The number of participants is equal to the number of films, i.e. on average 30. Festival Museum Film works with the concept of the museum's film. The museum's film doesn't mean a new film genre, but has its purpose in museums. The museum's film is a film in the service of the museum and its mission. It helps to fulfill the task of museum work, and museum's films can be a significant help for the storage of exponates, documentation of intangible cultural heritage, and during the presentation as part of the museum exhibition in various roles as well. The film itself can be a part of valuable museum collections. For instance, the own purpose of museum's film defines and affects its dramaturgy, because the goal of museum film is to capture the specificity of museum's film and to offer an assistance in forming the mission of movies in museums. The museum film provides awards for outstanding films, the Jury Prize, small sculpture named Black John. Festival has its own video archive for other films. It can be used for presentations like this. The contemporary digital technical form is one of the reasons why I consider important to acquaint you with Festival Museum Film in the Czech Republic at this conference devoted to the topic of digitalization in museums. Dear colleagues, now let me show to you a short movie clips from museum film. At first, I would like to let you look back at this year's museum film, which took place in June in our museum. Excuse us because sound has problem. I hope. The winning film of Museum Film 2016 became a film which has become an organic part of the permanent exhibition in the Podbrdské museum in Rožmitál pod Třebešínem. Well-known composer and collector of the folk songs Jakub Jan Ryba lived here 2 centuries before. Children's under the artistic leadership animated his biography, and they have created film by their own hands. Film is connected with the exponates in exhibition and is organical part of the local educational program of the museum. Film was awarded by Black John for the original creative outcome of museum education. Excuse me. It must be, please. The most award-winning film, which among other things acquired a year ago a lot of sympathy with the audience in the State Darwin Museum in Moscow, but also the jury prize of Museum Film 2015, and last month an award for the best Czech film in Festival Etnofilm Čadca in Slovak Republic. The film Bride from Březová is from the production of our museum. My colleague Maria Karličíková showed the work of my other colleague, Mrs. Veronika Provodovská, which was reconstructing the complex of famous wedding costume from the village Březová in our region. The movie was filmed in the museum by museum employees. Film won the Black John for cinematically efficient and professional handling of reconstruction wedding costume.
Většina skládaných aspoň, aby Zastěra udaných i svobodných musela být tak dlouhá, aby zakrývala koleno. Rváč, který byl ještě o něco delší, se oblékal na ní, takže pokud měla dívka boty, takzvané hladky, nebylo často vidět ani kousek nohy. Přestože tento kroj vyzdvihoval ženskou postavu, ve skutečnosti z ní mnoho neudělal. Až slavnými materiály jako kašmír a brokát se sukně postupně zkracují.
Please, and now because I must finish my referat, so I want to ask you if I can push only one very short spot for the end of my referat, and that will be all. So thank you for your attention, and this is the end of my referat.
Thank you.